The CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com says that it's completely reasonable for GOP lawmakers to demand spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt ceiling in negotiations with the White House. What America's John Hines has more from Washington.
The CEO and founder of the nonpartisan nonprofit watchdog OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Andrzejewski, is speaking out about the debt ceiling negotiations, saying all of us know the U.S. cannot default. So the big question is whether the debt ceiling will be raised without instituting meaningful spending reforms. He says giving Congress yet another blank check would be a mistake. So, Adam Andrzejewski, why does Joe Biden keep saying he is not going to negotiate budget cuts in connection with the debt ceiling increase?
Well, the Democrats want a clean bill. They don't want any reforms. They don't want any limits. They don't want any caps. But clean equals dirty in this case. And let me explain why. Because if you have a clean debt ceiling bill, what you've just done is you've codified all of the underlying government incompetence, the insiders rigging the system, and the criminals gone wild. You've got such incompetence at the federal level that the top 17 largest federal agencies just admitted to $250 billion worth of improper and mistaken payments. And so when you have a clean debt ceiling bill like the Democrats want, you are blind to the waste, the insiders, the criminals. You codify all of that.
So you're talking about waste, insiders, and criminals involved in government spending. The fact that there is so much waste, fraud, and abuse in government spending, is that an indication, perhaps, that we're spending too much?
Well, and that's why the Republican proposal of the cap, amending the debt ceiling increase to caps, is so important. Because when you have a cap on spending, it necessitates reform. It necessitates the debate between Democrats and Republicans over spending priorities. You just can't spend us into oblivion. Both parties are complicit in they're addicted to spending our taxpayer money.
One of the things Republicans want to do in their budget negotiation is claw back some of this money that was spent at the IRS to hire about 87,000 new IRS agents. Why is that a high priority for conservatives in Congress, do you suppose?
Well, incredibly, after nearly every single federal program was either legally gamed or illegally looted during the pandemic, now Democrats want to hike your taxes. And to back that up, they're doubling the size of the IRS workforce. According to our data at OpenTheBooks.com, in 2022, so last year, the IRS had 85,000 employees. But the Democrats now, in the Biden administration, are adding 87,000 employees, doubling the workforce. You have at the IRS 2,100 IRS special agents. We came out with an audit at OpenTheBooks.com this April, just a couple of weeks ago, that showed that the IRS during the pandemic spent $10 million on guns, ammunition, and military-style equipment. They spent nearly $1 million on AR-15 Smith & Wesson rifles and Beretta shotguns. This augmented their existing gun locker pre-pandemic. They already owned 4,500 weapons. So the IRS is staffing up and they're arming up to certainly enforce that tax code on the Biden tax hikes.
As the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com, what do you suppose is your message to Congress about maybe spending and the debt ceiling and potentially having a negotiation which curbs government spending or maybe cuts back on government spending in connection with raising the debt limit?
It's an interesting period right now, John. Our position on the national debt and spending is the same as the position of Barack Obama's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mike Mullins, who said that our nation's most significant threat is our national debt. And we agree with that. And that's why we need to tie the debt ceiling limit, the debt ceiling increase, to hard caps on spending going forward.
Adam Andrzejewski, the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com, thank you for talking to us on One American News, sir. It's a pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you, John.